So the next thing you want to see is if that variable is actually empty. Now we know that the variable being passed is in game size. Now we've started a session, so what we want to do is store it in that session. So I'm going to use a $_ and then session. So this gets us to the session variables, and then I'm going to use a square bracket, and I'm going to use a quote to identify the variable that I want to make. So this is going to be game_size. So when the information comes across through the get post, I want to put it into game size, which is going to be inside the session variables. So therefore that's going to be equal to, we're going to use a $_ again, and this time it's going to be the get, and we're going to also look at the variable that's being passed along, which we know is game size. And then we're going to put a semicolon on the end. This also needs to be encapsulated in quotes, and then a semicolon. There we go. So we're just going to save that. Now this only has one equal sign, where this one has two. This is a comparison. Two equal signs means is this the same as this, where one equal signs means put this inside of here. Now I've used the same variable name. This one's been used in the get method, and we'll use the same variable for the post method. That's coming from the form, and then we're putting that data inside a session variable on the server, which also has the same name. This does not confuse the PHP server, so we can do that in this language, which is a good thing. But what we'd really like to see, have we actually captured that bit of data there? So to see what's inside this variable here, inside the session variable, we're going to echo that out. And we're going to just put in a break tag, so it's not hard up against the top of our screen. And then I'm going to put some text in, like game size. If you want to use the exact same variable name, it's up to you. You could do it all lowercase and go game_size, because this is just a data dump for us, is equal to, and then we want to display what the game size is. So to do that, we need to use a dot, which is a concatenator. Then we can go talk to the session variables, and then we need to identify the session variable, which is going to be game_size. Put a semicolon on the end. So therefore, once it's been submitted, we should be able to echo that out. So let's save that and have a look. Refresh the page. You can see game size is here, but nothing's there at the moment because no data's been passed through. Let's click 100. There we go, 100 has been taken from the form, passed across to a session variable, and then outputted. If we pick the 10,000 or the 10, you can see now that we've got control of that piece of data here in our session variable. So therefore now we can actually go change our form method to a post. So rather than using get, I'm going to use post. Rather than using get here, I'm going to use the post. So therefore the post method, and from the post method, do the same thing. Save that. And then I'm going to go into my menu and tell the form to use the post method rather than the get method. And save that. This time when I refresh the page without the get method, you can see no selection has been made, and this is our developer comment. So I can refresh this as many times as I like, but when I click on 10, the page has been submitted, and you see the game size is 10, and then we've got 1000. Now we can also, before we finish this video, is besides correct the spelling here, we can set up for our high score table. So we know that if they're playing this game here, they're going to be using a high score table. So to do a high score table, this needs to be stored in a session variable. So to store that, we need to go back to our index where we've started our session. And because they've submitted the game, and we know the game size, we can set up a counter. The different thing about a high score table in this sort of game is how quickly you can get something. So really it's a low score table. So I'm going to create a session variable, and this time I'm going to call it low score then expert. So I know it's for the expert game. And I want to put some data into it, so I'm just going to let it equal to, say, 1,000. This way, if you're the first person to play the game, if you do it in 50 guesses, then you're going to set the lowest score, which is the best guess. And if the next person comes and plays and they get it in 20, then they will then overwrite the 50 and be the 20. So in this session, we'll start at 1,000 and then work the way down. I'm sure that they'll be able to guess it within 1,000. Well, I hope so anyway. If you're really uncertain, you can make it bigger and say we'll give them 10,000 guesses or 1,000,000 guesses. That way you'll always be sure. And then we can save that. Just to make sure this line of code's correct, because I've saved it, I'll just go back and refresh my page. Go continue. We'll come up top, press enter, and you can see no selection has been made. Click on 100, it's been passed through. So therefore that body of code has been run. If I want to see that, once again, I'm going to use the same sort of echo. So I'm going to copy and paste. And I'm going to put current low score. And then I'm just going to put in here the low score expert. Save that. Run that. Start off nicely, click 100. You can see that the current low score is 1,000,000. All right, that will do for this video.